Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Masterson. I'm one of the automation specialists with the Reynolds Company. I'm being joined today by Brian McKeska, one of my counterparts, also out of the Houston office for the Reynolds Company. We'll be, I guess, go to the next slide, Brian. Um, what we're doing today, we're having our last learning series of the year. And we are going to be covering basically be doing a preview for Automation Fair. Let you know what's going to be shown out there and generally how it's set up. Now, I want to go through our calendar here. This will be the last learning series of the year. We will start January, back up in January for it. And we already have probably our first three learning series sessions already lined up for the first part of the year. And we will soon have a calendar out, I would say by December, covering the whole year. We do have two tech talks left, and just to let you know what the differentiation between the learning series and tech talks are, learning series are generally Rockwell, are Reynolds led topics, and we do a deeper dive into things, whether it's hardware or software oriented or approaches, while the tech talks are shorter 20-30 minute conversations, usually on a more open topic. And this is also when we give our vendors the ability to also do some presentations. So we do have HMS Anybus and Text One Networks coming up before the end of the year for our Tech Talks. And with that, we'll get started. Today, we're going to be discussing Automation Fair, which starts November 6th, and it's being held in Boston. Last year, it was in Chicago for those who got to attend. Rockwell has changed this up a little bit, but it is still the preeminent event Rockwell has to showcase their technology. So we're always kind of excited about this time of year because basically this is our roadmap for the following year. We get to see what's new, what's being introduced. And besides that, we also get to see what the Rockwell partners are also putting out in the field. Things have been changed up this year. If you've been to before, it's a showcase for both Rockwell and their partners. And by partners, I mean, I'm going to throw out a few names. It could be someone such as Belden on the cabling side or HMS for gateways and remote connectivity. So this is where these manufacturers get to showcase their new products they're bringing out into the field. Now, part of it is they have added some new things to the Automation Fair this year. First of all, it is now a pay. They do charge for it now. We'll go a little bit into that, and I'll let you know what the differences are. But I think it's very important to tell you, even if you're not going to Automation Fair this year, and we'll address this down the road as we go through some of these slides, much of this material that's going to be presented at Automation Fair, we will have access to. So if you're not attending and there might be a session you're interested in the material, we will be able to get you that material down the road. So I just want to let you know, if you're not going to Automation Fair, there is still some reason why this session actually means something to us. They have changed things up a little bit. Besides the keynotes, they are doing offsite tours now, where they're giving you the ability to go and actually see this technology in use. We have broken down what used to be our Process Solutions User Group into four different summits, four different summits. Let me rephrase that. PSUG, the Process System Users Group, is now, where it was a full 2-day event, is now a half-day block of time, but they also have added some additional summits to it. So we have Plex looking at MES, OEM, and energy consumption through the ESG Net Zero Now forum. And the biggest takeaway is There's even more training sessions. There will be lots of hands-on training sessions. They've increased that capacity quite a bit. The way the passes are going to be working, this is the breakdown of how the sessions are. You'll notice the general access pass sessions are, that's the I don't want to say the lower cost ticket. It does not have the training pass associated with it, which gives you the ability to the showroom floor, the sessions, offsite tours, and the different summits they have. And as if you'll notice on the November 6th summit, the PSUG, the Process Solution Users Group, is actually being held Monday. So keep that in mind on the calendar events. Anything in yellow, the training pass is going to require an updated, I guess, ticket to the event, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. The registration passes, again, there's a general access pass, and there's going to be an advanced training class. The general access pass gives you admission to the showroom floor, the different keynotes, the forums, the ability to do the offsite tours, includes lunch. What you are going to be missing from some of the hands-on training that's in the advanced training class. And also the ability to, if you take these classes, to get your PDH hours. So I want to make you aware of that. On the training pass, they have actually, as I said earlier, they have increased the amount of labs they have. So there are going to be 33-hour-and-a-half labs compared to 23 from last year. And they have also introduced some 3-hour labs. So there are going to be 8 of those, and they're going to be run at least twice during the event. General access pass gives you, basically you get to go to all the educational systems, showroom floor, and actually go to the customer voice forums. The offsite tours, I'm kind of excited about this because I always like to see technology in action. So they will be doing 4 different ones. One looking at the independent cart technology that Rockwell is very involved in. Then 2 partners, PTC and ARMI, will be having tours at their facility, showing things off such as it could be anything from augmented reality to IoT. And then we're going to have some specific customer site tours. Probably the most prevalent one is Downey Cider Tap Room. I'm sure that's going to be a very popular tour. These are going to be held off-site, and you will be basically, after you sign up for it, there will be a transportation to take you to, I'm assuming buses, to take you to the events. The different summits they have, again, the Process Users Group, the Net Zero Now, Plex will have their users group focusing a lot on the MES strategies. Then there's going to be an OEM summit. Let's see what our OEM, basically giving an opportunity for our OEMs to discuss what is pressing in their business right now. That is generally for, it's a more of a pinpoint on the process industry. And what this process is we're bringing in some of our larger customers, and we're learning from their experience, what's important to them, what will make them a more sustainable company down the road. And then we'll look at some of the different technologies used there, such as virtual reality and augmented reality, and how these tools are actually used in the industry to make the companies more profitable, more sustainable. And the next session we'll look is the process industry forum. This is the net zero forum. This is looking at energy consumption and waste production, how to minimize that to as much as possible. So this forum is going to take a look at that. And you also notice that we have some different featured sessions that also go back to that. This is going to be held on Wednesday. This is one forum I wish I'm not actually attending, but it's one I wish I could actually go to because I like to see where the technology and where people are going with this. The chemical industry forum will be next. Again, we're looking at how to tackle sustainability and also by using as little energy as possible and as little waste as possible. So that will be an individual forum that will be held on Thursday. And last but not least, I believe the one I went to last year in Chicago, which I got a lot out of, was the water wastewater industry. That's basically we're bringing in industry professionals to discuss where the water wastewater industry is right now and what tools are they using. The use of IoT and MES applications. How does that affect wastewater? So there'll be an industry forum on that also. And with that, I think we'll talk a little bit about the showroom floor, and I will hand this off to Brian right now.
All right, thanks, Mike. Boston will be a little similar to Chicago in terms of the length, it looks like. In terms of the layout, you're still going to have scattered about your various vendors like Spectrum and ProSoft, HMS, Panduit, Hoffman, and some other ones that you may have never heard of. There's always a few vendors that or manufacturers that tend to have a something that flies under the radar, and you always talk with somebody and said, "Hey, did you see this?" And it's in some corner, and they have a really cool demo to show off. So just keep your eyes and ears out, and I'm sure there'll be, as we've discussed internally within our group, being in Boston, the home of Boston Dynamics, likely there'll be a few of the robotic dogs and maybe even one of the walking ones as well, as part of some of the demos.
And if you were at Chicago last year, the walking dogs were one of the best parts of it.
I think there were 3 at least last year. So the industry pavilions up in the front are going to be more akin to those specific subset industries that Rockwell focuses on. 3 of those are some of the ones that Mike mentioned. They'll actually have little small demos for each and every one of those industries, as well as like oil and gas, consumer packaged goods, pharmaceuticals, so on and so forth. Other areas, the products and technology area, it looks like it's in 3 blocks, but it should kind of flow within one another in the very, very center. And if you want to hear anything about the buzzwords of 2023, go back to the innovations area. And there's also going to be returning this year the Security Operations Center, which I didn't remember knowing before I went in Chicago, but it was a really cool experience. If you've been around long enough to hear Amadou talk, he will be back there. And later on, I'll talk about there's a way to sign up to be part of a red team or blue team 15-minute live demo that they're doing throughout the day or throughout the 2 expo days. And so this is going on in the products and technology area. The left side of the screen, or bottom left side of the screen, is the more towards the front. You'll have the standard pedestals that you've seen in the past with various items on it around. Optics is going to be a big thing that you see not only in this area shown here, but it should be scattered throughout the floor as well. A lot of new IO platforms, hardware and software. If you get to talk to a product manager, I would recommend doing so. You'd be surprised how something you may say may influence something on the design or the implementation of that in the long run. So if you're going, I would highly encourage you, especially if you have issues with existing Rockwell technology, to make your voice heard and let them know what you have issues with and what you like. What you like is just as important because it helps let them know that they're on the right path. Going on, this should be just an overview of the same area. The digital tools and customer experience area is going to be where you have things like ProposalWorks and IAB and the new Cubic Galaxy, which is their new modular switchboard, panelboard, MCC lineup design software. The back of the products and technology is split up into different segments. So in the networking area, you're going to find a lot of your static switches, power and process drives and MCCs. And as I mentioned, there's not only in the top right side of this is there going to be the information cybersecurity side, but back to the right of this, kind of in the back corner, there's going to be a security operations center where they're going to have a full setup, be doing red versus blue team demos. And even if you're not a part of the demo, the Hay should still have it set up based on how they did it in Chicago, where you can still see from the outside in as to what's going on and other people explaining what the red team's doing, what the blue team's doing as the demo progresses. And so just another zoom in to that products and technology area. There's going to be some new pedestals, some of the same pedestals you've seen, but the pedestals will include likely newer hardware or updated hardware. If you've remember FactoryTalk device for analytics, there's something called FactoryTalk Analytics for is it Guardian AI? And that'll be the newer edge machine learning tool that is very similar to what FactoryTalk Analytics for devices used to be. So back on the Cybersecurity Operations Center, there is a link to reserve your spot. Hopefully this opens. If you feel like it, feel free to sign up if you're going to be there. I'll post this link in the chat right now. If you want to sign up, it does look to be open. When you click, here, I'll try to bring it over. Initially, when you bring it over right now, it's still October, so it's going to look like nothing's available, but automation fairs for the expo floor is going to be the 8th and the 9th. So just be sure to click the time slot you wish to show up at, and yeah, feel free to sign up. It's a really cool experience. And in that back, very, very back area that was red, where I mentioned you can pretty much any and every buzzword you can find, you're going to find it, back in the back. This is their innovation center. This year, Microsoft is a big sponsor. And so they're going to have their manufacturing of the future area in this area right here. And they showed this, I believe, in Germany, and they're showing a portion of it here at Automation Fair. Buzzword wise, they're showcasing AI in the industrial metaverse. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. If you remember the entrance robot that rotated the screens and had them synced up to where even if they were offset, they were showing a continuous display, that robot will be here. They'll have AR, VR, and mixed reality area. So you may see something like a HoloLens or other headset type applications in this corner. And one thing we actually have been seeing in the Houston area for a few customers is industrial private 5G and the implementation that goes with that. If you do a lot of networking across larger plants, it may be worth checking that out as well if you've not touched it yet. I believe this is... I did mention before that FactoryTalk Optics was going to be a fairly big showcase within this automation fair. You should see it scattered throughout quite a bit. It won't necessarily just be in the one area focusing on optics. You should see it around and implemented with various applications. The cubic area was another um, innovation that Rockwell's come up with in terms of a very modular system to implement 19-inch switch racks, MCCs, switchboards, panel boards, switchgear. And so that may be worth checking out too if you're more on the power side. So in that middle area of the product and technology showcase, you will have things like the Proposal Works team or IAB team that are all under the product selection toolbox software suite. Cubic Galaxy is the design software for that Cubic platform. And you may see some pretty good updates with IAB. Again, feel free to contact them if you see them on the floor. If it's a product manager or somebody on that team, let them know your thoughts, both good and bad. Or if you have any suggestions for things you've seen with other manufacturers that you'd like to see Rockwell implement. There'll be quite a few software updates within this automation fair. One of them is V36 for Studio 5000. For the L8 controllers, OPC UA will be implemented and allowed native on the existing controllers as long as you're at 36 and above. And so that's pretty big news. No longer now do you need necessarily a RS Links or FactoryTalk Links Gateway license just to connect to somebody else's OPC UA server, as well as or possibly having an external gateway requiring that communication crossover between FactoryTalk Live Data and OPC UA. Other things that you'll see are the embedded edge compute module, which has a whole host of applications now. They will have it both on Windows platform and the Linux platform. It can implement FactoryTalk optics. Remote access is a big one. I believe we've talked about a couple of sessions ago. And so it should be a fairly powerful platform moving forward. And the potential precursor into having a redundant guard logic system, the L85 guard logics will be released around Automation Fair as well. So you'll get a large chunk of memory to implement your safety applications. One key thing that actually just happened, I believe within the past week or month, is that the Stratix 5400 will be going end of life at the beginning of 2025. It was a little earlier than we may have expected. And we do have solutions between the 5200 and the 5800 Stratix platforms to compensate for capabilities. So do check out all the new switches. They're based on the underlying platform is the Cisco IOS XE OS. Though should be a good number of product managers and people on the design team for those products out at Automation Fair. The next generation ETAPs are, we're really can't get those fast enough, but that'll be showcased as well. They'll have SFPs and all gig speeds. And adding to the Stratix 4300 remote access device, there will add a wireless component to that bulletin line. And with that, the as I mentioned, that there's quite a few software updates pretty much across the board, across the PAX platform. And so one of those big ones is actually FactoryTalk View version 14. They're really starting to tackle the look and feel of the software itself. And so one thing that was an issue was display scaling and rendering. And so when you ensure, you want to ensure that graphic elements are consistently presented in the appropriate size across a wide range of displays throughout your facility. Otherwise, you have to basically have the same monitor, and what if one goes out and you end up finding out that it's been discontinued, you get a new monitor, it doesn't look right. And so regardless of the resolution and DPI configuration of those displays, Rockwell wanted to ensure that the program would automatically scale the display to fit those various configurations. It was a very manual process before to make sure that those looked right. And there was also some issues scaling between a 2K display and a 4K display. The new introduction of version 14 should address a lot of those challenges and issues for the better. One more thing on that is the rendering engine itself often resulted in blurry and pixelated objects when you were changing scale, or didn't necessarily maybe doing a migration between different versions. And so that would diminish the aesthetic appeal and hinder the effective communication that the operators were trying to get out of the platform. And so it was a fairly considerable problem, and they've helped fix that in terms of allowing more precise visualization for the rendering engine to improve the quality and clarity of objects, text, drawing, and images. And you'll be able to see examples of that automation fair as well. Other things that have been added are a 3-level navigation menu with built-in search capabilities. Tag browsing has been updated with the introduction of FactoryTalk Services Platform 6.4. And so with the redefined tag browser that came with that, they've incorporated the extended tag properties and the communication between FactoryTalk View and Studio 5000 should be more seamless because of the new implementation of version 14 of FactoryTalk View. Additional features within have been improved upon from version 13 within the System Status Portal webpage to include FactoryTalk Historian, View SE clients, and alarm and event storyboards. So it's just additional information is now available by default within that System Status Portal. I mentioned Guardian AI. This is more of an extension, or at least I like to think of it as an extension of the FactoryTalk Analytics for Devices platform that we had a few years back. It's there as a machine learning based supervisory application to gather data from existing devices, monitor their behavior, identify and detect anomalies, and notify a customer of predicted equipment failures based on their knowledge of the systems that are installed. It's a edge-based containerized application that runs on-prem. It's in the form factor similar to the awesome 6300 box, so fairly small, DIN rail mountable or wall mountable device that can be also be tailored to your requirements for maintenance and operations. The initial release will be more geared towards Premiere integration with the PowerFlex 755, 755T, and 6000T drives. Um, um, and mainly initially, it's going to be for pump, fan, and blower applications, with more to be added in the future. There's continuing additions coming forth with the 5069 Compact Logix 5000 platform. The most recent will be the highly integrated heart modules for that platform. You should see quite a few, hopefully, new releases trickling through with the 5069 platform. Underlying to this, it is still actually being developed. So if you have any ideas or needs, wants, please reach out to the product manager on this, so that if they get enough interest in maybe something that's legacy that doesn't exist in any of the newer platforms, they can try to get their eyes on it, maybe come out with a solution in the future, because this should be around for some time. Other Rockwell products that'll be on the automation floor, our automation fair floor. Again, it's going to be a lot of software updates to the next iteration of version. So CCW, Logix Echo, the next iteration of Plant PAX, Asset Center, and a few other items. This is not all of them. On the Automation Fair website, you can find, let me drag this over. You can see right now, let's see, they have 92 separate new products and solutions listed. If you're interested in something very specific, is a new version of the 1492 printer coming out? Yes, you can find it here both before and after Automation Fair. And so I encourage you, if there's something specific that you've heard rumblings about, and you want to see if it's on this list, check it out. It's on the main Automation Fair webpage under Experience, New Products and Solutions. There'll be quite a few vendors there. Some of the ones that are worth checking out, we're going to have HMS come do a tech talk on, I believe it was October 25th. It'll be before Automation Fair. They will also be at Automation Fair itself. They have a new flashable gateway that is released. It's pretty cool. It's both for RJ45 connectivity and serial connectivity. It's definitely worth checking out. It's a little easier than having to know exactly what you want before you order. If you know just the general connectivity type, you can order it, flash it as you need once you get it, and or hang on to them if you have common projects that need gateways. It's a really good solution. One thing that has happened recently is Win911 and XL Reporter have merged and is now called Smart Sites. And so they're working in collaboration with one another. XL Reporter is being integrated into Win911 in terms of their reporting. And the newest version of Win911 has also released. They will be on the show floor. And one very exciting thing that I was fortunate enough to be a part of was the next iteration of the Stratus FT server. It will have a new name. They're going to release the product in terms of, I guess, releasing all the NDAs maybe on November 1st. Hopefully they'll show it at Automation Fair as well, or at least have a prototype of it. They've gone through the beta testing. I believe they're going to wrap up beta testing pretty quick, but this will be the next iteration of their FT server platform, and it's very, very cool, with very big implications for how the product could be used in the future and how it could progress. So I would highly encourage you to check that out if you've ever dealt with virtual machines in a Plant PX setup or dealt with Stratus FT servers, UTC Edge servers. Yeah, it should be fairly cool. One vendor that always throws a hospitality event that a lot of our customers tend to enjoy and go to is the Spectrum Controls hospitality event. Typically, it's in uh, uh, one of the nearby hotels. And so it'll be Tuesday, November 7th. The theme, they always do a theme. I'm trying to remember, I think it was Star Trek in Chicago. It was Star Wars and Ghostbusters, and they had all kinds of stuff. Well, this year is going to be Jurassic Park. So it'll be a pretty fun time. They normally have some photo booths and little swag gifts for customers. So check that out if you can. Mike mentioned the pricing. We have passed the date for early bird pricing. And so the pricing has increased. If you order or sign up before November 3rd for the general access pass, it'll be about $600. If you choose to do the training pass, it'll be about $1,700. And it'll go up after on November 4th, even more if you decide to go last minute. Note that there is a $0 for the virtual cost. The virtual will not be available, I don't believe, right away.
But we should have access to all the sessions.
Correct. Internally, if Rockwell doesn't post them, typically the distributors have access to sessions. So if you see something you just really want to see and have the information for, please reach out to us after the fair. And we'll be more than happy to try to dig that up for you. Currently, the 2022 virtual experience is still online. So I imagine once they finalize all of the recordings and post editing and everything for 2023, that'll just replace that page. But all the keynotes, presentations, or at least the larger forum presentations should be up on the website as well. And with that, I believe we're done.
All right. We thank you for attending. And again, after the fact, even if you're not attending, just remember we will be promoting the labs and a lot of the stuff from Automation Fair probably in the first quarter of 2024. So our first session in January, we will be looking at the hardware and software releases that were shown at Automation Fair, and we'll do a deeper dive at that time. Again, we thank you for attending.
Oh, and one more thing, for those that have never been to Automation Fair before and you joined this call to see what it was about, you've already signed up. There is a Know Before You Go webinar that was actually around this same time. I posted the link in the chat. Feel free to sign up for that. You'll receive a recording of it, and it's mostly for people that have never been to Automation Fair before and don't quite know what to expect before they go in. So with that, yep, thanks for attending, everybody, and we'll see you all later.